Braveheart Lacrosse Show. I'm your host, Greg Marzak. For those of you that's your first time checking in, I'm a former Division I lacrosse player, currently a youth and high school lacrosse coach located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and excited to share some lacrosse content with you and grow the sport. Let's check out the next episode. Down. Set. Thanks, everyone, for joining. It's my honor to introduce my guest on this podcast, Coach Kyle Hannan. I've actually known him for a while, but this is our first year of wearing the same uniform. So a little bit about Coach Hannan. Played at Salisbury University and was awarded in 1985 the Charles B. Clark Award for Salisbury's best all-around lacrosse player. He coached also at Salisbury as assistant coach and Hobart College. He's the former Mercer Head Coach. He's one of 9 coaches to have over 400 wins. Pretty distinguished group there. And he's the current president of Team 24/7 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Just to get things going, what's your favorite venue that you've played or coached at for lacrosse?
Oh, wow, that's a total. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to chat with you a little bit about lacrosse, and I know you're doing a great thing here with these podcasts, and it's really going to help a lot of lacrosse players out there kind of move to the next level and stay engaged in the game. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
That's tough when you're doing this for 30 years. There are a lot of different venues over the time that I really enjoyed. To be honest, I enjoy game day, right? So they all stand for their own venue, and they're all kind of unique amongst themselves. But I would say early in my career, kind of winning those championships at Hobart as an assistant, young in my career. The one that really stands out was my last year at Hobart. We played the national championship in Bird State, and that was a huge venue, and it was an exciting game, and we ended up being very fortunate that day and winning the championship, and that's something that really stuck with me for a long time. I also was involved in the MLL for a year, and those venues were really neat, much different than the college, but those were special days on those MLL games. So those stick with me quite a bit as well. And then I know Duke, when I was at Mercer, it was always fun to go to Duke. Oh, yeah. How professional that entire organization is, and how special that day ends up being for the players and the coaches. Those were fun games and venues in North Carolina as well. 2 years ago, we played in North Carolina's football stadium, and that was a pretty neat feeling as well. So there's a lot of them. I could go on with this whole podcast. Could be pretty special venues that
there's certainly like you mentioned, there's something magical about game day, and when you step on a field under the lights, or just a historic field, that's a really cool opportunity to have. So thanks for sharing. I've got some other questions here. What's your favorite drill? Obviously, a couple of coaches have picked up. You're a big drill guy. You got a whole stack of them. What's maybe your favorite?
That's a tough one. I think our build-up drill is probably the favorite. Or it kind of starts as a 4v3, and then a 5v4, and then a 6v5, and finishes 6v6. We used to do a lot of that just because the picture changes every time a ball's put in the drill.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of energy. It's up and down the field. It's a full field drill. And you can really see some neat plays being made through the transition, and then when the ball's on each. So I would probably say that's what we call it hamburger drill.
Yeah.
Because the first guy on the field, his legs are like hamburger when they're finished that series.
Oh, yeah.
He's down the field so much.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I remember, obviously, just when you start getting to higher levels, college seniors are saying, all right, freshmen, you're up on the first leg of this, and they sort of get nudged to the front of the line just to take those longer reps. But so speaking of which, we'll transition. What is some advice for players looking to take the college lacrosse journey?
Wow, there's a lot, and it's amazing, since I've stepped away from, the collegiate lacrosse, and now I'm in the more of the business side with 24/7. I've really had a chance to hear other coaches' perspective on, through whether it's a recruiting talk or giving advice, and it's really interesting. There's a lot of good information out there, available for young men that want to take that next step, if they're willing to take the time and really explore and find that. Personally, being able to wear both hats, kind of the college coaching hat and now the business side and the club side, I've learned that these players are around so many different people. If they play multiple sports, different coaches for each sport, obviously. Now there's, they're playing for their high school, they're playing for their club team, they're going to tournaments, and they're going to prospect days, and they're hearing. And my advice would be, make sure to cherish all those opportunities, right? And learn from many people as you can, because typically when you're going to those different events and you're part of a really organized organization, qualified people are talking to you and giving advice. So my recommendation, keep an open mind, cherish the opportunities that you get, and constantly challenge yourself. I've told a lot of the guys 24/7, get uncomfortable as often as you can. That way you're kind of growing. Don't sit with comfortable and think you know everything. Try to be uncomfortable and learn. So that's the advice I would give them.
No, that's great, and I'm obviously excited to share about that. Just 2 points. One, I think, and I've heard this from other people, with the growth of the sport, not only in terms of people playing, but also access to information and the amount of lacrosse content that's out there. Obviously, I'm trying to add value, bring in the best lacrosse podcast that I can. I think that there's so much information. I don't want to say it's like, oh, back in my day, but really, like, the players have so much content now, whether it's access to college coaches or social media with players online and drills. Like, that really wasn't there even 10 years ago. I still remember like watching DVDs on bus trips in upstate New York with guys in short shorts and old football jerseys, and teaching defense a breakdown, and like go take your defense stick and like slam it into the back of the mesh, and there'd be guys out there doing that. But now that, as with the growth of technology, whether it's Zoom meetings that you guys have set up, or just all the social media, all the content online, it's really exciting to, one, be able to contribute it, but two, for players to stay engaged and hopefully make the most of their opportunities. And then the second piece, just resonating what you brought up, like, I remember just going through recruiting, and one thing that my father expressed is, like, we would go see universities, big or small, and I was really questioning, like, why are we going to see some of the smaller schools that I wasn't necessarily interested? But the perspective he gave me, which resonates exactly what you said, is you're going to be able to talk to coaches and explore what you're interested in at the smaller schools, so that when you get to a bigger school with a coach you really want to impress or be a part of the organization, you know how to present yourself, you know what questions to ask, you know what you're looking for within a school. And I think that was really valuable and interesting to go see programs that maybe I thought I wasn't interested in, but actually I learned a lot from, and would not consider, I wouldn't change anything that I've done, now looking back, but it was valuable to get that perspective, and even not being nervous. If you get in front of a big time college lacrosse coach, you don't want to, make yourself look bad. So that perspective you brought up, and that idea of you don't know everything, just be open to what the person has to say about the lacrosse or your game, be coachable, but also go in with an open perspective and cherish that. The last question is, as we move in with COVID, and obviously you guys have been great at 24/7 about, staying engaged with the players and helping get field opportunities safely and as much as we can. What advice or guidance do you have for players worried about their seasons or just the situation right now, and trying to stay positive and use lacrosse as an outlet for that?
Yeah, and I think that word you use, positive, kind of sums it all up, right? Because it's a very difficult time right now. Everybody understands that, but it's something that we can't really control. What the regulations are placed, state, county by county. So my advice would be keep a positive attitude, find ways to get better within the restrictions that are granted. There's always an opportunity out there, right? So maybe you can't be with your high school team for a period of time, but you can find facilities and get with a group of guys. You can reach out to club coaches. Like, we're offering a lot of opportunity in 24/7, so guys can still play lacrosse and stay on that path of getting to the next level. But it's challenging time, and I think it has so much to do with attitude and positive spirit. And those that fight through it the right way and find ways to continue to grow with a good attitude and a positive spirit, those are the ones that are going to try to reach their next phase.
A lot of players right now who are maybe concerned, but they're just so excited to get on the field. Try to stay positive outside of with everything going on. Thank you so much. And one last thing about, staying within lacrosse, like 3 teams have released their upcoming seasons today. So Mercer, I saw. So it all around, like, that's really exciting. And I think a lot of people look forward to that. So, just keep that in mind. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming season. I know a lot of players are, and everyone else fans of the game, just to try to get some normalcy. But like I said, Coach, thank you so much. This was a great opportunity, and hopefully everyone who hears this, appreciates your time and the insights you gave us. Last thing, I'll add a link in the description for anyone who's interested in Team 24/7 to get in contact. You can find the link in the bio, or on my website at braveheartlacrosseshow.com. I'll be sure, hopefully, Coach Hannan, if you think it's a good idea, we can send this out to the people in the program who might be interested in listening. If not, that's okay too. They can find it online. But awesome, thank you, Coach.
I think sending it out is fine.
Awesome.
More opportunity for these guys. And you had mentioned COVID might be in certain ways pulling back and restricting, the ability to grow as a lacrosse player. But some of these things that you're doing, this podcast, can really help and advance these guys with information that they can receive and learn from. So I think sharing it's a great idea.
Yeah, I resonate that. I think so much around lacrosse, not just on field, yelling at guys, shoot with your left hand, put it in your other hand, just being able to have conversations like this about the sport, about cherishing the time with your best buddies, like that is really important for kids to hear, not just from, their parents and their buddies, but from, coaches like you who clearly have a role in their, development. And I appreciate you giving the time to talk to them about that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I mentioned it in the beginning, and I'll mention it again. I really appreciate the opportunity to jump on, and would love to possibly be a guest again at some point.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait once we start getting into the season to talk about picks, and I'd love your insight on that. You have a unique perspective down here in the South, different teams. It's funny, we played against each other for so long now. I'm happy to be on the same team as you, Coach.
That's so true.
Awesome.
Isn't it amazing how everything goes full circle?
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
To recruiting game, and then I knew you up at Boston, and then I knew you at Detroit. We played against each other, and now we're full circle all the way back around, and we're coaching together.
It's crazy to think, with lacrosse growing, how big it is, but really also how small it is, how small the community is. So thanks again, Coach. You have a great night, and we'll talk soon.
You as well. Thank you.
Hello, and thanks for sticking around to the end of the episode. If you like this content and want more, please subscribe using some of the buttons around here. I don't know which platform you're listening on, but I appreciate it. Also, consider checking out our website, braveheartlacrosseshow.com. You can comment, you can send me a message and suggest what type of content you'd like to hear. Really appreciate it from hearing from the audience, and look forward to bringing you great lacrosse content. Have a great day. Tell your parents you love them. Listen, I've thought long and hard about who I'm going to allow advertise on this podcast. And this ain't no middle of the mall junk. Just like I bring my audience the best lacrosse content, I'm going to bring my audience the best product. There's a link in the bio below or on the support page of the Braveheart Lacrosse Show website, where you can find the best air fryer on the market. Now, I know air fryer's a big deal. Everybody wants to make French fries and chicken wings and chicken nuggets, but the Instapot Vortex air fryer oven is the best air fryer on the market. It has a 10-quart internal volume, so you can make French fries for the whole party. It has a built-in rotisserie spick, so you can make a whole chicken. Or you can put those French fries in there, let them spin, and they become perfectly golden without having to flip it. It's great. I cooked for a hotel room of 20 lacrosse coaches, chicken all day. We watched college football and ate chicken all day. So if you like this podcast and you want to support it and you want the best air fryer, check out the link in below and check out the link on the support page of the Braveheart Lacrosse Show website. Thank you, and we'll get back to the content.